Welcome to the Penny Stock and Cryptocurrency Survival Guide. Before we get into the class itself, I want to give you a little bit of context. The class I put together several years ago, but the key thing here is that the class is about emotions and psychology. And with emotions and psychology, because we're human beings, they've always been around and they will always be around. So what you learn about has been valuable, still is valuable, and will be valuable in the future because we're humans. We're always going to have anger, greed, overconfidence, sorrow, freaking out. All those things have always been around and will always be around. And the key is when you understand those dynamics, as cruel and mean as it sounds, you can leverage those dynamics against other people. If you understand how other people are feeling, how other people are viewing different circumstances, then like I said, you can leverage that to put profit in your pocket. Yes, that sounds mean, but that's how the financial markets work. It's understanding how other people are feeling and believing and then using that to your advantage. The other note is that this course is based around penny stocks, but please realize this for you crypto traders. Anytime I say the word penny stock, you realize that you can and should replace that with a cryptocurrency. Anytime I'm talking about an exact penny stock, please realize you can and should insert in any sort of coin that you may be looking at, because the emotions and psychology is a perfect parallel between penny stocks and cryptocurrency markets. And it's a way that you need to go into surviving penny stock trading, crypto trading, or maybe you're going to do both. But you better understand how what I call the wilderness works, because if you can understand the wilderness, you're going to give yourself a way better opportunity to make money as a whole. So let's go to my desktop and let's get into the class.
So you've heard me talk about the penny stock wilderness. Well, now we're going to address it in detail. That's the whole point of this video. If you remember back to the introduction video, one of the first things I talked about in the entire course was, that nice little picture, had some blue water, the mountains, the green trees. That's what the penny stock market looks like from the outside. That's what the wilderness looks from the outside. However, when you get down into it and start getting a part of it, this is what it looks like right here. Pretty scary, not as friendly looking as what it does from the outside. So let's hop in and start to talk about this wilderness in detail. I've alluded to this earlier, but let's face it, penny stocks are not mainstream. There's no CNBC, there's no Bloomberg News, there's no Wall Street Journal, there's nothing in the magazines. But you know what? That is good for us. The people on Wall Street are 100 times smarter than I am. I'm not going to say that about you because I obviously don't know you, but those people are smart. They don't go to the Ivy League schools and the Stanfords and all those sorts of schools for nothing. They are extremely smart, and remember, the smartest people in the world, they go to Wall Street. I don't want to compete against them. I don't want to be their food source. So yeah, penny stocks aren't mainstream, but you know what? That is perfect. So that's what we want. We want to go against people that, let's see, I don't want to irritate people that aren't the most intelligent, aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. I'll put that. They're not the sharpest tools, or they're not the brightest bulb in the box. I'm trying to keep at least halfway politically correct here. They're just not the smartest people that you would come across. That's who we want to compete against. And in the world of penny stocks, where it's not mainstream, that's who we are competing against, so that's perfect. So who is a part of the penny stock wilderness? We're going to cover that. And then where is this wilderness actually located? You're not going to see it on TV. You're not going to see it in the Wall Street Journal. So where exactly does this wilderness actually unfold, and where can we monitor it and just keep track of how things are unfolding within the wilderness as a whole? Okay, let's talk some biology and ecosystems real quick. Like any wilderness, there's just going to be two parts. There's going to be the food chain part of the ecosystem, and then ecosystem, not ecosystem. Well, I guess both would work for penny stocks because there are a lot of big egos running around. Anyways, first part is the ecosystem. That's going to be the food chain, and then actually the physical location, like where is the wilderness taking place? Again, a couple nice pretty pictures over there, but as the opening picture showed us, when you get down in that wilderness, not so nice. So we're going to talk about two things, and there's two components that this wilderness has. There's going to be food sources and hunters. That's it. That's what the penny stock wilderness is all about. Food that needs to be eaten, and then the hunters, those that find it. So the penny stock food chain, who's all a part of it? Who makes it up? Penny stocks are known for just being dysfunctional, and yeah, it is pretty dysfunctional, but when you can make sense of the dysfunctionalness, then that's what we want. That's the whole goal of everything. So who's a part of the penny stock food chain? Well, we have the management teams, the insiders and financiers. We've learned about them. We have investor relations, we have promoters, we have traders, and we have investors. That is everybody that's within the world of penny stocks. This is who makes up the food chain of the penny stock wilderness. Now, when you're in school, you probably learned about the food pyramid, eat this and eat some fruits and eat some vegetables. Well, this is the penny stock food chain pyramid, and this sums up the whole wilderness as a whole. So we're going to go through this. You're going to be seeing this slide a lot. This slide, again, one of the most important in the entire course, but like I said, you will be seeing this a lot. So let's just break down. Remember, what everything matters at the end of the day is belief. That's it. So that is at the top of the pyramid. But belief, who's going to create this belief? Belief can come from many people, but it's going to start with management. Remember, we talked about management. They're the ones that are doing the companies. A lot of them use investor relations, and then investor relations are the ones who communicate to both the traders and the promoters. We're going to learn about all these people, but the next level and tier down are you have promoters and traders, gun, and I'll explain what I mean by all that. But that is the next area of the food chain. And then at the bottom of the food chain is right down here, the investors who are the food source. That is who all these people. So let me grab another cover here. So this portion of the food chain pyramid, they all eat them. They are the food source, and they're the investors and the lazy. And I'll explain more about both of those, but just know right now, all these people, the belief starts up here, and when it reaches down here, that is the food source, and all these people, management, investor relations, promoters, and the traders with the gun, all feast upon the food source. But wait, what is all this stuff going on outside of the pyramid? Right here, traders with the bow, that is the goal. That's who I personally am. That's who I want you to be. Can you be successful without being this person? Absolutely. You may be walking some lines of moral. You may be getting a little sketchy when it comes to what's morally right and wrong. But that's not for me to decide upon. But the goal here is to be out here. We want to be traders who all we're doing is observing what's going on here within the penny stock wilderness. We're not saying anything, but you know what we're still doing? We are still eating our food source down here. However, because we're doing it more from the outside and not making a big hoopla, we're using a bow. So for you hunters out there, a bow doesn't make any noise. There are still traders though that do like to make a lot of noise and do like to draw attention, and so we call those, or that's what I'm going to call the gun traders. We want to be bow traders, meaning we use our bow. We're just out here on the outside observing what's going on. We're going to come in, we're going to get our piece too. We're going to eat the investors and the lazy, but we're just going to do it from kind of a backseat role, not making a bunch of hoopla. People aren't even going to know we're there. With the bow, a silent weapon, that's what we want to use. The traders who use the gun, yeah, people are going to know they're there, and that's fine. Again, I'm not saying that you can't make money doing that, but me personally, and what I think, what is the most, I would say, stressless and most time efficient way is to be a bow hunter, and I'll be explaining all that. But this is what we want to be over here, just outside of the pyramid, but observing what's going on within it. I want to say that again. We want to be outside of the pyramid, but observing what's going on within it. And kind of, if you picture this as a cookie jar, every once in a while sticking our hand in, grabbing the cookie jar and being out, and nobody knows we're even there. That's what I think is the best way to go. Is it the only profitable way to go? No, I will absolutely not say that, but I think it's the best way to go. Just observe and let everybody else do the work for you. And again, I'll explain more what I mean by that. However, there is one more thing to talk about, and that is, like any wilderness, we have weather conditions. When the skies are sunny and when the belief is very easy to see, that's excellent. That's what we want to see. However, when there's storm clouds that roll in and they start to try to rain down reality, raining down of reality, not what we want to see. Now, we're going to get into this extensively, but that's where the bashers, if you've never heard that term, I'll explain more, but that's where they come in. The bashers are the ones who try to get in front of the belief, try to cloud it out, and then just start raining down reality. And, the bashers dilute too, and we'll talk about what sort of dilution they bring. But that is the whole ecosystem of the penny stock wilderness. It all starts with belief, and it flows down here through all these different means, and then that creates the investors, and it also just is what the lazy people also fall into that category. Turns into our food source. We are out here. That's our goal. We're using bows. People don't even know we're here, but we're still getting our food source. and then the bashers are what we need to keep an eye on and monitor, just like you would for regular storm cloud. So I'm going to get in all this. We're going to go through each of these components individually over the course, but by the time it's over, you're going to know exactly what to be looking for in here. You're going to know how it all functions, and you're going to know when belief and reality, where each of those stand. Because remember, when belief is greater than reality, we have opportunity. All right, so at the top of the very pyramid is management teams. So who are management teams? We know their makeup. We know they're not the smartest people, but hey, let's show some appreciation and some thank you. Without them, there are no companies, and therefore there is no penny stock wilderness. So thank you, management. Thank you for willing to come and create a piece of garbage company. I appreciate it. This next bullet point is crucial. I don't know how many times I've seen people run around acting like and bragging about how they have some relationship with the CEO. They always email or talk on the phone or whatever. They are not your friend. Again, they are not your friend. To them, especially the ones that are truly trying to grow a company, I mean, the slime ball ones, they're just going to lie to your face, no problem. But the ones that are truly trying to grow the company, think about that. That company is their child. That's where their loyalty lies. That's where their loyalty is at. So they may just tell you what you want to hear for the sake of their child, or they may they may tell you something with the best intentions at heart, but it still doesn't turn out in your favor. They were thinking maybe it would, but at the end of the day, their loyalty does not lie with you. It lies with their child and their company. And again, going back to motivation, who cares what their motivation is? Who cares if it is a scumbag that's leading you down the river, or who cares if if it's not a scumbag and he's truly a nice guy? However, he's still giving you bad information, not because he means to, but just because his company's a pile of trash. So again, motivation, who cares? But you cannot trust these people. Their loyalty does not lie with you. Now, I was talking about how some people kind of walk around and brag, I talk with them on the phone all the time, blah, blah, blah. Well, these are the people that end up like this. Because they will tell you one thing on the phone, and, they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear as a shareholder, and then turn around and do the exact opposite. Because they're going to do what's best for them, which is their company and their child. So, if you want to put all your faith in them and those phone calls and that great relationship that you have with them, then it's only a matter of time before you're staring at your phone saying, what the heck just happened? He told me that this, or she told me that, and now they're doing this. What is going on? Management teams, they need to be able to persuade. That's what it's all about. You have to sell your future. You have to sell your product. You have to just persuade. They already know they're a penny stock company, so they know that it's an uphill battle. So they have to be able to put on this hat right here and be able to persuade. Now, as hunters, who really cares about all this stuff? It doesn't matter. None of this matters. The only thing that matters is, are they good at creating belief? If they're good at creating belief, then okay, you have our attention as bow hunters. Remember, we're outside of the pyramid. We're not inside. We're not, running around yelling. We just want to know if they're good at creating belief. If they are, then okay, let's see what happens. But as far as, like picking up the phone and calling the CEO, don't waste your time doing that. Who cares? It's whatever. They're not going to tell you the truth anyways. They're going to tell you what best fits them at that point in time. So again, are they good at persuading? Are they a good salesperson? Are they good at marketing? If so, then all right, odds are they may create some belief. But until we see some sort of belief, then who cares? Move on and find something where there is belief with the stock already. All right, investor relations, IR. Sometimes the CEO will hire investor relations firms. Sometimes it's just the CEO. I mean, the best way to look at this is, if you look down at the bottom of a press release, is if the number leads directly to the CEO, they probably don't have an investor relations company. Sometimes they do, and you'll see, such and such investor relations. Either way, an investor relations person, they are hired to create belief. So as hunters, hey, we appreciate this. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're good at creating belief. However, looking at it from the food source or the investors, we need to understand this about them. They are not your friend. Again, they are not your friend. Their loyalty does not belong to you. It belongs to their boss. Who is their boss? The person that's hiring them. Who is hiring them? The CEO. So again, not your friend, just because they're telling you stuff on the phone. Again, I don't know why you'd be talking with them on the phone, but if somehow that gives you an inner working to where some belief may be coming from, then so be it. But don't start sitting there and believing everything they're telling you. And remember, just because they're nice, oh, this IR guy at company, XYZ, man, he is such a nice guy. He is straightforward. He's a straight shooter, and he's nice. Well, they are paid to be nice and friendly to you, and they're paid to be straight shooters that appear to be straight shooters, but really they're just creating belief. The good ones are going to be smooth talkers. They're going to come across as super friendly, super trusting. And again, going back to motivation, maybe it is their best intention at heart. Maybe they are telling you what they truly do believe about the company, and there's no, ulterior motives. But at the end of the day, who cares? It's all about, are they good at creating belief? If they are, then again, we'll be interested, and let's see what happens with it. Now, the next part of the food chain are the promoters. Now, promoters come in all shapes and sizes, and they all use various tools. There's 3 that we're going to talk about, not in this presentation, but there will be a whole lesson focused just on promoters. First, they could use just the aggressive approach. Then there's a fundamental focus, and then there is a technical focus. I myself, at least at the time of this video, I am a promoter. Maybe you think that promoters are evil, so maybe now you think I'm evil. I use a technical focus, and I'll explain more about that, and I'm going to be using myself as an example just because I don't want to create any drama within the promoting community. But yes, I am a promoter. So if you weren't aware of that, there you go, right there. Now, as hunters, we love promoters. I mean, thank you. There's going to be more to come on this, but just know that from people that want belief and that thrive and eat on belief, we love promoters. So thank you very much, Mr. and Miss Promoters. Now, there's also traders. This is going to be more so about the gun traders. We as bow hunters, think back to that slide. We are on the outside. We have our binoculars. We're just looking in. So when I'm talking about traders here, these are all the gun traders. These are the ones who are, in the trenches. They're sitting there typing on the message boards, typing on the social media. They're making phone calls. They're writing on blogs. They are active. They are making noise. They are letting people know, hey, we're here. They are hunting with a gun. Not saying anything wrong with it, just saying it requires more time. Whereas I'd rather just be a bow hunter, sit on the outside and observe what's going on and let the gun traders do everything for me. Now let's get one thing straight, and I'll touch more on this. These gun traders, they are promoters. The only difference is they're just not being paid to promote. They are being paid, but just in a different way. If their shares go up, then they get paid. So again, the only difference between promoters and these gun traders are one is being paid to do it, and the other is not being paid. So that's like I said, I'll touch more on that, but just know that up front. The promoters get the bad name, but gun traders, they're just as guilty, and we'll get into all that. But there's 3 types of gun traders that we're going to talk about, and gun traders are in the traditional lingo known as pumpers. Maybe you've never heard of pumpers before. If you've been around a while, I'm sure you have. But pumpers are just people that run their mouth. They're making noise, letting people know they're there. They are hunting with the gun. They are there. There's 3 categories of pumpers we're going to talk about. There are loudmouth pumpers, there are hypnotizing pumpers, and these are really the ones that use kind of like a hypnotizing gun. And then there's transparent pumpers. Some people, they say nothing, they just observe and trade. Obviously, that is us. That's what our ultimate goal is. We want to have a life. We don't want to have to, sit around on social media or message boards or chat rooms or whatever 24/7, sitting there talking about, hey, this stock is great. Believe in this stock. We don't want to. That's just not an ideal setting. We want to let other people do the work for us. And promoters and then gun traders are 2 of the vital sources that will do that for us. Now, investors, this is one of our food sources. These are the people that are fully behind the company. I know the company is loaded down in debt. I know the CEO has a history of, reverse splits. I know the CEO, can't even count to 10, but I'm fully behind the company, long and strong. Maybe you've heard that if you've been around. These are the people that are always buying the dips, or you see the price go down. Hey, these are bargain prices. That's just the investors. That's who we want. That's who we make our money off of. And like I've talked about before, these are really the people that, they talk with management and IR on a regular basis. That they really, if you've been around, you've seen it on message boards especially, they really are proud of themselves, and they think that somehow gives them an upper advantage. And all I can do is just kind of laugh about it, haha. yeah, you keep forming that relationship with that investor relations person who's being paid to form that relationship with you, and we'll see where that gets you in the long run. But the larger the food source, the fatter everyone in the food chain becomes. So the more food there is, the fatter everybody becomes, the more money we all make, whether you're a gun hunter or a promoter or investor relations or up at management. Everybody's going to make money. The more fatter, the more convincing, and back to that word, the bigger the belief is, the bigger the food source is going to be. And that is why belief is at the top of the pyramid, because it all starts there. If there's not a good, if belief cannot be created and established, then nobody's going to get fed, and that's not good. And then we have the other side of the food source, and these are lazy. At least investors, let's give them some credit. At least they're doing due diligence. At least they're making phone calls and making an effort to, sure, they're totally misguided, but at least they're picking up the phone and sending emails. At least they're digging through filings, all that good stuff. The lazy, they're just people that purely follow. That is their, I want to get rich, but I don't want to take the time or money to learn anything. I just want it to be fast and painless. So they're the ones that are running around, hey, where should I buy? Should I sell? Is this a good stock? Keep in mind, they're doing this to random strangers. We'll have examples of this in later videos. These people, they don't last long in the market. They're there and gone. The thing with the investor food sources, a lot of them eventually learn. They're putting in the effort up front, so they learn and then they better themselves. I was definitely an investor at one point. Food source, I got my lunch eaten. I got a big chunk taken out of me, but I had the motivation to learn, and I did learn. These people here, they're totally different than the investors because, like I said, investors at least make an effort. Their effort is in the wrong spot right now. Maybe you're an investor and you're thinking, oh crap, my efforts are in the wrong spot. Well, hey, you now know where to look. You now know that it's all about belief. But lazy people are not watching this presentation right now because lazy people, they want everything handed to them. They don't want to spend money or time to learn or better themselves. So that's one guarantee I can make. Lazy people are not watching this video right now. They're not going to spend money on any course. Even if this course was, 1 penny, they would not spend it because, hey, I'm not spending money on a course. It's probably a scam course or it's probably a ripoff. Just tell me what to buy. Is this company good? That's a lazy person, and they don't last long. I know I said that, but want to drive that home. But the good news is there's always going to be lazy people. That's another guarantee. So although they get spit out and chewed up real fast in the market, there's always going to be somebody else that's going to come in and replace them. And then we have the storm clouds. These are the bashers, and there's going to be three types of bashers. We're going to have bitter bashers, then there's no life and quote-unquote tough guy bashers, and then we have detective bashers. And the thing with the bashers is eventually they prove to be right about the overall story. Remember, these are all piles of garbage. So at some point in time, they're going to prove to be piles of garbage. Now, this could take a week, this could take a month, this could take 6 months or a year. But they're all going to prove to be pieces of garbage, and eventually the bashers are going to be right. So just know this, the bashers are right. Now, if they're right now, that's a whole different story. And if they're affecting belief right now, that's a whole different story. But eventually the bashers are going to affect belief enough where it tilts reality ahead of belief, and then the opportunity is gone. However, the key is, when does that transition take place? And again, when understanding the dynamics of things, you're going to know that just because bashers show up doesn't mean you have to get scared or anything like that, because there's going to be some examples where it just doesn't matter. Now, should they be, we need to monitor them, yes, but a basher does not mean that the end is near. It's going to come. The end is going to come, but is it near? Maybe, but at the same time, it may not be for another 6 months. So now that we've gone through it, just want to reiterate this slide. So we know what the wilderness is. So we have the what. Now let's talk about the where. Where does all this stuff take place? Where are we as bow hunters observing stuff? That's what we need to talk about now. So where's the wilderness? It's hanging out with Waldo somewhere, but you're not going to find information on CNBC, Bloomberg, Forbes, other magazines, your broker, financial planner. Let me put it this way. If you walk in and your financial planner who's planning for your retirement says, hey, I have a great penny stock for you, please fire him immediately and go find somebody else. I'm not a financial planner, but I know enough where if your 401k or IRA or whatever is being quote unquote diversified into penny stocks, you may want to do a background check on your financial planner or broker, because that's, I'll just leave it at that. Just do a background check if that is indeed the case. So where do they take place then? I mean, it's not on the Wall Street Journal. It's not on TV. There are two places in the penny stock wilderness where the vast majority of belief begins, and the source is going to be very revealing. So keep that in mind. Wherever this belief starts to come from, that's going to be very revealing for us. Now, the two sources of belief, we've covered the one back in just the fundamentals. Companies communicate over the news wires. They release press releases, PRs. This is the most common. If you can go to Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, OTCBB.com to look up the news. This is going to be management's main means of communication. And then from there, the PRs are trickled down through the food chain. They start at management. Management has to think, all right, what can create belief? What can we do here to create belief? Then they're going to send it to IR. IR is going to distribute it to promoters. The gun traders are also going to figure out from, the news release, they're going to start to use that. And then, of course, the lazy and investors are going to see the news releases and say, all right, I'm going to base my decisions based on this news, which is just, not right. But if those news releases create belief, that is what we care about. And then another source is going to be SEC filings. Now, when you see this, money can still be made, but you have to be very quick. And this is usually the gun traders that are just saying, hey, check out, they find a company based on the SEC filings that has a very low float. So remember, float is the shares available out there. They'll find filings and say, hey, this company looks great, blah, 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 and there's nothing there. And then all they're doing is buying first, and then they send it out, and it's just a straight up pump and dump, except there's no sleazy financiers or company that's doing it. It's just traders that are coming together, front loading as it's called, and they're figuring out a means to, something that's going to move fast. So after they buy shares and then start to pump any sort of way, whether it be social media, message boards, whatever, the price is going to go up. So if the first thing you hear of somebody is some trader saying, hey, check out this because their SEC filing has a low float. Well, who cares about the float if the company has no business? A lot of these are just called shells, meaning there's nothing there. It's just the paperwork's been filed, they exist, they're trading, but as far as business or anything like that, they're just shells. It's very cyclical, but a common one of these is they're called shell plays, meaning people go around, find a shell, and then their main way of creating belief is, hey, this company could reverse merge. This company or this shell would be great for, to reverse merge into. And then it just turns into a whole, it's a clown show is what it is, but the price can go up. Again, you can make money on these, but you need to be careful because usually they're low float. So as fast as they go up, they can come down just as fast. So be very wary of any where the belief all of a sudden comes from SEC filing, meaning you go to Yahoo Finance, you pull it up, and there's not a single news release. Why are all these people talking about this when there's not a single news release? That's a good indicator that all this is coming from a filing because people have noticed that it's a low float. So the food creation tools, how is belief trickled down within the economy of the wilderness? So all sorts of things, message board forums, Investors Hub is it is the biggest penny stock forum out there. You have social media, Facebook, Twitter. I hope this presentation is being watched 10 years from now, and I hope that Facebook and Twitter people aren't saying, what is that? But social media, I'll just leave it at that. Live chat rooms, there's newsletters. These come in both the form of digital, meaning emails, and then hard copy. Those used to be popular, but not as much anymore. And then phone calls, but they're not nearly as popular, especially with the creation of emails and all the electronic stuff. So again, these are where we monitor it as bow hunters. This is where these are the tools used by not only management and investor relations, but the traders with the gun, the pumpers in general, even the investors and lazy. These are the tools they use to. Maybe they're not using to create belief, but this is how they're getting their information. This is how they're getting that belief shoved down their throat. So just know that these are all the areas where the penny stock wilderness does take place, where everything unfolds, and the areas that we need to be in tune with. Now maybe you're saying, hey, you barely talked about pumpers and promoters and bashers. There's more to come. I did want to talk about management and IR just because those two are very straightforward, but there's plenty more to come in the following lessons. But the point from this one is we now understand what the penny stock wilderness is, and you understand where we fit into it. We are that bow hunter. We're on the outside, and we're just observing. And the whole point is don't be a food source. If you choose to maybe become a gun hunter, then hey, I'm not going to judge you. That's up to you. But just know that you want to stay out of the bottom of the pyramid, because the bottom of the pyramid means you are being eaten for lunch, and that's not what you want. So whether or not you're a bow hunter or a gun hunter, or you want to pull in some money like I personally do on the promoting side, that's all up to you, but stay out of that bottom box. I was down there when I first got started. Not a fun place to be. And if you are down there, well, now you're learning how to get out of it and how things actually operate. So that is the moral of the story. Stay out of the bottom of the food chain pyramid.
Well, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button and leave a comment below, even if you just say thanks. Also, go to claytrader.com/team, and if you want to join my private community that's got all sorts of added benefits, you can learn more at that link, then please join. I'd love to have you. It's very cost effective, and like I said, if you want to surround yourself with other quality, like-minded people such as yourself, then I hope you give it some consideration. But again, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and leave a comment down below.